Okay, now these, and now I'm making the main spars for the Z4S H stab. So this one is out of spruce, which is over there. So these ones are 3/4 inch by 1 1/4. Unfortunately, I made a small mistake here. I planed it like 40,000 to tin and checked with the proper authorities, and I could just add this 40,000 thick plywood in there to compensate. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stick, of course it only comes in 5-foot length, this plywood, so I'm gonna be gluing the centerpiece first, and it would also double up as a I guess as a plywood washer for my hinges, because I need a plywood there. So the other one will get the usual, just a small plywood in there. I made this small jig, which is basically just two aluminum angle that we're laying around. So by having the two together like this, it assures me that this surface is completely flat on its own, and this gives me a perfect flat surface also to rest my pieces of wood. So I'll put some glue, put this guy there, and then clamp it. So the plan is I've marked the center line here, center line of this, so it could be equal on both sides. I'll put a couple of staples just to make sure it doesn't slide, because then I'll have to add these other pieces on the sides, and then I'll make sure this is a good. Okay, now I scarfed the joint by hand. Actually, I'm working on a jig for this, make this very scientific. So then I calculated with my caliper, make sure my thickness was all equal, slash a bit thicker. So I guess very light sanding will make it perfectly flat, and then that's it. So now I know where the piece needs to end, and then I'll staple, make sure they don't move. Then I'll flip it over and clamp it. Alright, so this is it. So I've placed my plywood that was marked center line, same with my spruce spar, together. Couple of staples that I actually hammered in so they were fairly flush, so they wouldn't impede on the clamping pressure, and then slipped in the two other piece with a scarf joint, as you can see here, barely. Put some wax paper here, so these are the main clamps, and I put some of those also just to make sure that it stayed close to the fence, and added some stoppers here just to make sure there's a bit of pressure in between. Sounds like it's a go. Alright, so there it is. So it's a lot of trouble for Swedish heel fuck up. Don't do the same, please. This is a very straight. Just have to remove these guys, and the flush cutting bit for the other side. At least this will double up as my washer for the where the hinges go. So personally, I like this type of tray, a sliding tray. It's just home built, rides on two. Very standard, I guess, for any woodworking shop, and just any kind of stopper at the correct length. Now I'm redoing the two exterior ribs of the H stab here, because I did not notice, but since it's tapered here, the height is not the 1 1/4 like here, and the 14 inches stop here shy of this rib, but this one is definitely smaller, and it relates to this. So there's a dimension called 6.5 inch here. So 6.5 inch here. So this is my height. So now I'm gonna cut small sticks. It's gonna be this height minus 2 times the thickness of those guys. So I will get the correct height. Something else I do, not because I want extreme precision, but just for ease of transferring the size and stuff. So I went here and just, so this is, I drew this full size, the tapered as per planned, and then at 6.5 inch I get this cross line, and this dimension is my apogee, or my distance between the two ribs, and between the two top and bottom of the rib. So this dimension on my caliper gives me exactly 1 inch. Then I go to these guys, which is going to be the 2 sticks exterior. So I just subtract whatever this dimension gives me on the caliper, and then so I do 1 inch minus this thickness. It gives me 0.632 inches. So this will be the height of my small sticks in here. Then I can come here and just use my my vernier as a guide. So this is my distance between this. So I'll just use this stopper with this dimension, and those will be my sticks for my exterior ribs. I'm going to confirm that 2 thickness and 1 length of sticks gives me 1 inch. So there we go, 2 sticks and 1 inch. So that's pretty much 1 inch. Alright, now I glued the other side of the ribs, which were 1.25 inches, and the thinner ones, which are 1 inch on both sides. In honor of my friend Larry, I put the smallest amount of staple, which is 1 per side, and then some clamps for the rest.